Good to see you. All right. Let me put an end to the music and bid everyone a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. How's it going? How's it going? How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. Sup, Ghost on Twitch. So yeah, wherever you're watching from, because I multi-stream to several platforms, a couple of the green ones, a red one, a black one, a blue one, that's LinkedIn. I don't remember where else, somewhere else. Yeah, wherever you're watching from, hope we're all doing well. And we're going to cover some news. It's not going to be like the last 2 days. The last 2 days were quite dystopian in terms of news. Quite dystopian, where AI is becoming a religion and capturing people's minds, and people are falling for it and worshiping it and literally creating religions around it. Yeah, let's step away from that. Let's take a break and let's cover some typical news, including why you should stop using Cursor. Just stop using Cursor. I'm going to cover that a little bit later. We're going to do some of the typical news topics, and well, I've got my coffee. All right, and yeah, we'll get into it. By the way, earlier today, I had one of the world's renowned leading physicists repost one of my posts on X. Yep, this guy. I'm kind of proud of myself. I'm a little proud of myself, all right? I'm a little proud, just a little bit proud of myself, okay? Okay, a little bit proud. All right, I'll pat myself on the back, and then that's it. When do mods get paid? Yeah, Ross. Yeah, when do mods get paid? Penrose? No, Sabine Hofstetter. Yeah, Sabine Hofstetter. That was quite wild to see that. Trust me, remove your credit cards from Cursor. Yeah. Remove your credit cards from Cursor. I'm gonna get into that. The problem, just since you guys are, since there's not very many people here, this is the problem. When I start the stream, people don't really show up. Speaking of which, I better do the announcement on Discord. Let me do that so that people actually can hop on. It's like very few people first show up. It takes like 15 minutes for people to shuffle in. Probably because they have to quit like streams that they actually want to watch. Right? So they can come here. Yeah. So yeah, Cursor scammed. Yeah, so Ross. So while I just give everybody a minute here, just before I start here, I was gonna get going, but let's give people a minute here. Ross on Twitch and Ross on X as well. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Ross essentially got scammed by Cursor, and then I tried to do a deep dive this morning with. Yeah, the problem is I have limited time. I have to prepare for the day's stream. I have to pre-read articles, so I couldn't get into it as deeply as I wanted to. But I found enough information to talk about it. I do think it's worthy of raising it to attention immediately, instead of like taking my time on stuff like I normally do. What's up, Elko? Good to see you. And yeah, a lot of people are getting scammed because of Cursor. So if your favorite tech streamer influencer is telling you to use Cursor and praise and sings its praises all the time, they might be sponsored by Cursor. Because I do not see any other way that a person of any moral fortitude could continue recommending Cursor. Yeah. All right. It's been a minute. If people are gonna hop on, they're gonna hop on. What's up, Mist on YouTube? Good to see you. All right, one more time. I'm gonna do this again from the top. Okay. Um, I've got my coffee, and let's get to the news. So just give me a second here. I'm gonna do it live. I'll pop this open over here. Oops. And I should pop this open too. And I think I'm ready. I think I am, yeah. All right. Let me switch over to this. All right. I had to zoom in quite a bit on this one. I apologize. So let's start with this one. Meta's massive AI data center is stressing out a Louisiana community. This is a report from 404 Media. A massive data center for Meta's AI will likely lead to rate hikes for Louisiana customers. So essentially what's happening is that Meta is building a huge data center for AI in this Louisiana town. And what's going to happen, it's not proven to happen, but essentially it's as good as has happened. The amount of energy that has to go into this data center storage is going to drive up energy prices for everybody around, to the point where some people might have to be driven some people might be forced out of town because they're not going to be able to afford to pay for the massively increased energy prices. Not data, I said data prices, but I meant energy prices. I apologize for that. So this is just another article to go over, or to build up on some articles I've gone over before. The reason why I do these streams is to talk about these articles. You have it before you, it's on record, and we build up evidence as we go through time. This is another one, and you can see that the estimates is like 2.3 times the power of the entire town for this one data center. I mean, that's insane, right? So yeah, energy prices go up. There's something to be said about the destruction that AI is going to have as a third or fourth order effect of requiring AI to run. And what are we getting for these data centers? We're getting Studio Ghibli code and almost, not quite, almost junior level code. Is it worth it? Is this really worth it? Yeah, I don't know about that. Kobina on X. Admire what you're doing. Take strength to go against the grain like this. Yeah. I don't know about like. I mean, I guess I guess a lot of it is against the grain. I know that like people won't hire me because they don't want to have someone like me on their team. Even though I've been programming for a very long time, I know people who wouldn't want to work with the code that I generate because it's very like simple, straightforward code. I know people who don't like the fact that I would call them out for using stupid abstractions, etc. I know investors who would not like to have me as part of their company because I would be asking, why are you doing stupid things? So, um, I don't know about strength, but it's definitely like, it's not easy. Let me put it that way. Um, but I just care about this industry, and I care about the impact that this industry has on people's lives, like this. That's someone potentially like you, Kobina on X, or Ross, who we're gonna go. I'm gonna cover just a few articles, then we'll get to the cursor stuff. So you know, I care, and I hate the way that the tech industry has gone, and that means that I have to like scrape by with my family. But too bad, I guess. I ain't shutting up. Yeah, I don't care. Okay. Energy prices are already increased in here in preparation for the price spike from the server farms in Norway. Wow, Ross. So they preed, they preed. Yeah. You generate code manually? Yeah, Beercoin. The shock. The shock. What's up, Marsky? On Twitch. Good to see you. All right, next article. This is a positive article for all the naysayers who say Sparrow never does any positive articles. Everything is dystopian and sad. Why am I so depressed every time I go to his show? It's like, okay, first of all, the reason why I do what I do is so that you guys don't have to be depressed. I do all the depression for you. I take it all on for you. And then I tell you how we can fix this stuff. Okay? And we fix this stuff by doing what the market tells us is good. And the market tells us that when we focus on good things happen, like lots of money made. And yeah. So if we follow that pattern, then you can look at what I'm doing as pointing to the bad, because the opposite of it is good. It's good news. The good news is that we can change the tech industry, and it's not hard. That's the good news, bros. It's not hard. It's not hard. I bet you in 6 to 8 months, if the entire tech industry went through a not even a significant like cultural change, mindset change, just a small one, the tech industry would be unrecognizable. Video games would be way more fun. The programs would run faster. Websites would be better. Everything would be better. All of it would be better. It's right there. It's right there. That's the good news that I'm talking about. Okay? That's the good news. And all it takes is people like you and me to say, hey, what we're doing is stupid. Let's stop doing that. That's it. That's it. Now, and I'll catch up on chat in a second. This article is also good news. I like seeing this stuff. Breach forums, hacking forum operators reportedly arrested in France. We've talked before about how people in France who owned lots and lots and lots and lots of money in crypto were being literally kidnapped and tortured. Somebody lost their finger as part of the torture campaign in order to get access to their crypto wallet. I wonder if this has any relation. I have no idea. That's just speculation. But in short, the arrests of, I believe it was 5. I want to say 5 individuals. I want to say 5. I read this morning. I can't remember now. But essentially, these were people who were operating the forum. Now, the reason why this is good, what typically happens is that you will have people who hack, or in some cases, they don't even have to hack the stuff. Guys, if you're a consumer watching right now, if you don't know anything about code, just go back and watch some of my streams. You would be shocked how many times. You'd be shocked how many times we have found hackers who have got your data because of a publicly exposed database. There's no password protection. There's no encryption. Everything's just plain out in the open. And all someone has to do is just go look for it and find it. Now, what this means then is that a forum like this takes that information and then they sell it to other people, and you can see how the chain of effect happens. Eventually it ends up in the hands of people who want to do blackmail, identity theft, etc. So I'm really glad to see that these guys got arrested, because that stuff is bad. Okay, that stuff is bad, and in part it's the fault of the tech industry neutering the ability for programmers to actually understand what the hell they're doing, to the point where we just do, oh, but my developer experience, I need to feel good while I program. Let me just click a button to set up a database full of people's private, identifying information because of my developer experience, though. And then you have stuff that's just easily accessible. So I'm glad to see that this is getting shut down. Let me see chat. No, don't stop returning. Okay, I keep losing my sword here. Do you keep losing your sword? I don't remember. Maybe I did that, Marsky, because I had to do a cleanup, Marsky. You might have ended up on the wrong side of that. Hey, thanks, Killian. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Have a good stream if you're having one later, man. Yeah, hey, Mist. Yeah, the donation went through. I just noticed it now, man. There you go, Mist. Thank you. So I guess Mist on the YouTube side donated $10. Thank you. Holy crap. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Look, I know how difficult it is to part with even $5. I used to be homeless. $5. I say this all the time. I'll never stop saying it. $5 can be a meal, a meal for a day, and it can get you by for a day. Like literally, it's like a meal at McDonald's. So I don't beg for money or anything like that because I know that some of you guys are having a hard time, and I'm not in it for the money. Honestly, the money's like nice; it helps pay the bills, etc., which I greatly appreciate. One more time, Miss. Thanks for thanks, and on the YouTube side, there's not enough interaction, so W's in chat everywhere for Mist on the YouTube, so that because I really do appreciate it. Thank you, man. Um, I'm always around here when you're around in my time zone. Okay, well, okay, okay, okay. Let me keep going. Let me keep going because I can't keep up with all the chats. Damn it. Oh, what's up, Evil Eye? I see you. Good to see you, man. Okay, let me focus here because I know Ross wants me to get to the cursor stuff. All right, let me focus. Jeez, you guys nerd snipe me so much. Half of social media marketers can't imagine doing their jobs without AI, yet most admit wasting money on it. So social media marketers are spending a whole buttload of money on AI. But 81% of leaders say it's being wasted. Why? Because marketers are stuck manually fixing AI output for days every week. I want you to read that. Days every week. Okay? So apparently these marketers are going, I can't do my job without AI. Let's dump a bunch of money into it. Then that's the article, by the way. There it is. That's it. That's your article. Okay. And yet, so many of them have to spend several days a week manually fixing AI output. Bros. Bros. Tell me again. Tell me again how. How on earth you can expect me to tell people that they should be using AI. Yeah. Even if they spend days fixing, do they save weeks? I don't know, right? Killian Music on Twitch says they think they're getting a shortcut with AI, and in the end they have to fix the crap output. Exactly. Yeah, that's what happens with coders who use AI too. Generally, it's a general statement, right? Generally speaking, when you're using it, like we've covered articles where people are using it to generate scientific papers, and these scientific papers being submitted to certain parts of the scientific industry have like gone up by tenfold in some cases since 2020, and they generate the worst scientific slop ever, and peer reviewers are inundated with it. Then we have coders who were already suffering from a 10 to 20 year output of absolutely moronic tech industry decisions. There's a reason why your video games generally are so bloated and large and slow and laggy, and then companies have to go to like woke stories, if you want to call it that, whatever that term that you want to accept is, where they go and like they have to make it really political. That's really what I'm trying to say. Thanks for the tip, whoever just did that. Code Matt, there's another 10. Code Matt, thank you. Who I think is Evil Eye on YouTube, I believe. Thanks for another 10. That's $20 today, man. Thank you. Wow. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and okay, and another more W's because he's on the YouTube side. W's for Evil Eye. I really do appreciate that, man. I really do. Thank you. That means a lot. That honestly, I use it to pay bills and pay for subscriptions and stuff to get even used. Anyway, as I was saying, these AI systems are just producing more and more slop for more and more people, and then we're offsetting people's livelihoods, like I just covered. And the last two streams, if you go on episode 74 and 75 on my YouTube, it's all there free for you to see. You can see that people are being captured, mind captured. These things are making people believe that they are gods. These things are making people literally let end their own lives. I think that's a TOS friendly way of saying it. I'm not joking. Like, this is real. People are getting married to these things. They want to build like silicone versions of these systems so that they can do whatever they want to do with them. This stuff is like cancerous to society. So I simply cannot promote the use of AI right now. I just can't. Um, man, donation opportunities. Shut up, Crispy. Shut up, Crispy. All right, Crispy on YouTube. Shut it. All right. I spend. Elko says I spend a lot of time fixing AI slot, but not as much time as I save. Elko, you're sounding very much like an AI defender. You're sounding very much like you want people to use AI, and I'm glad that it's working for you. Crazy people are going to do crazy things with or without AI. Yeah, I know that you're a pragmatist, but here's the problem, Elko. This utilitarian outlook, where it's like the utility of the AI system, therefore makes it okay to use, I fundamentally disagree with. As a matter of fact, I would say that it would be immoral of me to agree with you, given the evidence I've gone over. Not only do we have alternatives to using these systems, but these systems have a very, very particular type of danger that don't exist in other systems. So there's almost no amount of pragmatism that will overcome the fact that these particular systems cause people to lose lives. And frankly, Elko, I'm a little bit offended, all right? I'm a little bit triggered, Elko, because you, of all people, should know better than to straw man the argument. Making a generalized statement like crazy people are going to do crazy things with or without AI is a straw man of the argument. That's not what's in dispute. What I'm talking about is not the fact that these things, crazy things happen. What I'm talking about is that the nature of crazy things comes with the nature of the tool itself. There are alternatives to using the tools. You simply just don't have to use them. We've had the alternatives for, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of years, or even just, decades since these LLMs came out. And the cost to human life, whether it's literally or financially or emotionally or otherwise, is not worth the pragmatic output that you yourself seem to anecdotally get. So I'm disagreeing with you, Elko. I think that's fine for you to have that take, but for me, I cannot encourage people to use AI regardless of the pragmatism. And the pragmatism is very narrow and small to begin with, where you literally want people to pay tens of billions of dollars for what? For what? Do you think there's a realistic way to convince people to stop using AI? If not, decrying it as a bad move versus finding the best path to working successfully with them. I don't see how you can so is there a realistic way to stop people using AI? Nope. People are going to use it. Decrying it is not a bad move. Decrying it is the correct move. The best path to working successfully with them is to get people to understand that we need to stop using them and take a second look at how to use them properly. Because right now, we don't know how to use them properly. So again, your premise is flawed. It's like you haven't been watching. It's like you haven't been watching my streams, Elko. Are you even a true fan? Yeah, it's not about what I want. It's about where I think the world is headed. Yes, spoken like a true pragmatist. I disagree with that. And my stance is the moral stance, not the pragmatist stance. Because if you just went by pragmatism for everything, there are all kinds of things you can justify, Elko, simply because it exists and has utility. Pragmatism here needs to count for everything. I don't think everything is accounted for. Correct. And to be clear, what I can agree is that there are ways to use AI systems that are good, but we don't know the extent of that. What we know is the current LLMs that we have produce bad stuff. So maybe we need to take a minute and figure out how to use it properly. Right. Killian Music, who's a musician, by the way, so it comes from like an artistic background. I don't know about the coding world, but there's a huge social stigmatism against using AI in art and music contexts. Like people will crucify you if you replace all your elements with AI. Yeah, and I think in art in particular, it has a bad stigma, yes, because the promise of AI was that people who were artistically minded could do more of those artistic creative things, and instead AI essentially just took all of that. It took over all of that, and it didn't take over all the stuff that you were hoping it would take over to give you more time to be artistic. And then it does so unethically. It steals all kinds of stuff, and so then yeah, I can absolutely see why someone who is artistic, who draws, who creates music, etc., would be unhappy with the way AI is used. It has nothing to do with pragmatism. Let's start with that. Yeah, I think maybe Elko and I are talking past each other. Elko says, "I watch. I just disagree. I'm able to listen to views I don't agree with and not have a soy tantrum about it." Uh, okay, Elko. I mean, that's great. Am I having a soy tantrum about it? Hang on, Elko. Am I having a soy tantrum? Or are you just saying that generally? Neither of us is having a tantrum. Hang on, Elko. And no, 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 no. Don't wiggle your way out of this, Elko. All right? You said soy tantrum. Am I or am I not having a soy tantrum? I want you to state that I'm not having a soy tantrum. Good. Damn it. Elko, you were this close to getting unmodded and timed out. By the way, Elko's a mod. Elko Elko and I disagree on this, and that's actually fine. I want people like Elko to be here. That's one of the reasons why he's a mod. Because he disagrees, and so we can have like an argument and be cool about it after. Um, and so that's fine. That's it's fine. If he completely disagrees with me, it's totally cool. Um, so we get to we get to play around with that. Um, yeah, thanks, Evil Eye. If you keep covering this, I'll do my best to donate $10 per stream for the entertainment I'm receiving. What entertainment? Evil Eye, what entertainment are you talking about? I don't provide entertainment. You're the soy in chat, Evil Eye? Yeah. Killian says, like AI for me is fun for creating BS. Generate a photo of Abraham Lincoln reading the news on an iPad and drinking Starbucks. But for real art, it sucks. I can see the fun factor, and you know what? I can actually even see it in some video games where there's potential for good use of AI in like NPC generated uh, responses, maybe if you kept the scope narrow, things like that, right? There, like, look, there are good use cases for AIs and LLMs, and I've covered them here. To be fair, I think even Alco knows this. I have covered them here. Um, but just me. This is just me. The way the evidence that I've gone over, the stuff I see on a day-to-day basis, the outcomes of these systems causes way, way more harm than any good anybody's getting out of it. So when I say we have to stop using I mean, we need to reconsider how we're using it. And I just want to be clear too. I don't know if I have the article this stream. I don't think I do. Maybe it's tomorrow's stream. I have an article that goes back like I think it's like 5 or 10 years and talks about machine learning algorithms before LLMs. We've had these kinds of systems in the past. The and they were extremely beneficial for many things. Those are still there. We can still reach for those, and we can still accomplish a lot with these automatic learning systems in computers. The difference is that the LLMs talk back to you. It's a tool that talks back to you. And if it finds the right combination of words to tell you, it can very easily lead you down a dark, dark path. And not only that, but the language, the language algorithm is not a good algorithm for many aspects of life, like coding, like like take your pick. It's a language thing. It's not a computerized thing. Yeah, Killian, if I had the money, I'd love to blow money commissioning stuff, like generate those kind of silly photos. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go into. Let me go. Let me keep going. One or two articles, and then we'll do the cursor review here. I've got this one. Ghost sex ground war on Israeli satellites. That sounds really bad when I separate ghost and sex. Ghost sex. Ghost sex? Maybe that's on purpose. In any case, ghost sex. Okay. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because it's actually kind of interesting what's going on here. So, believe it or not, what you have is you have a terminal that reaches into that communicates and controls satellites out in space. Duh. But the terminal has to be on the ground. There's a human who has to actually input. You can see the hang on, let me go here. You can see some of the output of the terminal after it's been hacked, mind you. But you can see that there's some. Here it is, right? The satellite network, etc., etc. Now, these terminals are suffering from the same thing that publicly accessible S3 data, for example, like the counter below that we keep covering, they are suffering from the same thing that these things are suffering from, which is that they have public facing IP addresses and default configurations that make it really, really easy for a hacking operation like GhostSex to find them and hop in. And since they find these and they hop in, they then have access to the satellites up in space. So they don't need to actually hack the satellites. What they have to hack is the terminals on the ground. And once they hack the terminals on the ground, you can see that they get all kinds of information. Let me zoom in on that. Type of device, vendor, manufacturer, interface name, network topology, physical location, uplink, downlink, GPS coordinates, etc. And at that point, they can do all kinds of stuff with the satellite. So this is what's happening as part of the unfortunate outcomes of what's going on between Israel and Iran. And these guys are making use of defaults and publicly accessible ground terminals for satellite usage. Now, if I remember correctly, they actually, here we go. We have hacked over 40 Aegis 2 water devices, defacing some of them. They've hacked some industrial and other like Internet of Things systems on, whatever kind of systems, like hardware systems, 500 plus websites on top of that. And let me see, I think up here they talked about how many terminals they got into. Maybe not. Does it say? I don't think it says. Yeah, it doesn't say. But this is essentially what they consider to be a psychological campaign against Israel, like, ha ha ha, we gotcha, kind of a thing. So the reason why I bring this up is, one, first of all, it's crazy that these ground-based terminals that that control satellites are this easily hacked. How about this? They're this easily accessible, publicly accessible. That's crazy to me. And second of all, that if you think that groups like GhostSex or nation state actors, even not confirmed that these are nation state actors, but if you don't think like countries like America and whatever are doing these kinds of things to other countries, I have a bridge to sell you. Of course they're doing that. And this is how easy it is, which is again why I say that we have to get our act together in the tech industry, because what we've done is we've created an entire ecosystem where not only do we have people who don't know how to write quality code, performant code, efficient code, everything's slow, everything crashes, etc., etc., which is, by the way, a way for hackers to get into systems. Yeah, non-performant code can be an attack vector. It's non-efficient code can be an attack vector. Not scalable code can be an attack vector. And obviously non-secure code can be an attack vector. But we have critical military systems like this that are very easily hacked. I've covered this time and time again on these daily tech news streams. So we have to we got to pull up the sleeve, so to speak. All right, so this will be the I'll cover this one and then we'll go to the cursor stuff. CloudBees CEO says customers are slowing down on black box code from AIs. So CloudBees was founded in 2010. It has some kind of association with Jenkins Automation Server. If you're like a systems administrator or DevOps, you know what Jenkins is. It just brings in a bunch of different like libraries and stuff, pieces them together, and then deploys it to wherever you want. So what the CEO of CloudBees says here, as they have leaned into AI, as it says here, including model context protocol servers, which are essentially little spin-offs of LLMs that have integration, deep integration into like your code, your files, business files, all that stuff, CRMs, everything. So what he's describing here is the issue that there is a lot of code that is being spat out by these LLMs when you let's say vibe code or whatever, and people don't know how to even value judge the code. This is a problem. And not only do you not know how to value judge that code, because as I've said, we've spent the last 10 or 20 years in the tech industry neutering the ability for programmers to have the experience they need to understand beyond the abstraction, framework, obfuscation, layer upon layer of things in favor of their fifis and developer experience. They don't even understand foundations of programming, so they can't value judge the code. But on top of that, how the LLM generated that code in the first place is not known, which makes the LLM a wild card. It means that if you don't have people who know how to value judge the code, and you don't know how the LLM is spitting out all this terrible code, you cannot predict when you're going to have terrible code spat out by the LLM, and you cannot count on a programmer to detect it in the first place. Therefore, this is ripe for all kinds of issues. And it is due to the nature of the LLMs. This is now scientifically proven to be the fundamental nature of LLMs. You cannot escape this. There is no way to escape this. The science has made it clear, and there are still more studies I haven't covered that continue to make it clear. There's a reason why I had a world-renowned leading physicist repost me today, because she goes over this exact same thing too. The only way that we're going to escape out of this and actually get any amount of like turn this ship around in terms of LLMs is a complete fundamental redesign of what LLMs are. That's it. And in the meanwhile, companies are having the FOMO experience, fear of missing out. They're importing AI systems and firing a whole bunch of people or laying them off because they think that AI is going to save them from the stuff that they don't know how to do in the first place. And these issues are only going to escalate. It's already a problem for the military. I've already covered this. And it's already a problem for OSINT, which is security aspects of the tech industry as a whole. I've already covered this too. This stuff is almost nothing but problems, just continuous problem after problem after problem. And nobody has the ability to keep an eye on it properly and keep it in check because it is fundamentally flawed right out of the gate. So I guess, I don't know, watch out for that. How about that for a dystopian future? Oh, geez, I'll go with... I don't disagree with your premise. Bad outcomes are worse than the benefits. Here's where the pragmatism comes in. Venture capital has put so much money in, they're not going to stop under any circumstances other than bankruptcy. Saying AI bad is just going to get them to stop listening. You won't change minds. Instead, better in my view to focus on the right use cases. Then you still may have their ear. I don't want to have the ear of VCs, Elko. So there's two assumptions you're making. First of all, that I give a shit about VCs. I don't. I don't give a shit. They can get fucked. I don't care. If they're it Why would I want to participate in the shitty decisions that have opened the door for this to happen in the first place? No. I don't care about the pragmatism, and I don't care about them. I don't care about having their backing. I just don't give a shit. And second of all, I have changed minds. One's in chat if I've changed your mind about AI. Well, there you go. Two people. So that is a non-zero amount of people. If one's in chat, if I've changed your mind about AI as a result of these streams. So I am changing minds. If you want the industry to change, says Alco, you should want to have their ear. They will keep pouring money into the industry either way. Let them. There's three now. Let them. Let them do it. It's their own undoing. Why should I participate in something that I consider immoral activity just because it's going to continue happening? This is exactly what you're saying, Elko. This is well, how about I might straw man you. If I do straw man you, like, call me out, Elko. The way that I see what you're saying is, well, pornography will continue to exist. So just tell people to just, like, what are you going to do? Just keep using it. Just keep using the brain rot. Or like, well, drugs exist and people are going to keep taking them. So just lean into it. You're not going to change minds. Why you think people are going to, pharmaceutical companies are going to stop creating drugs that are addictive and ruin people's lives? The pragmatism out of it is that you get some drugs that actually benefit people's lives, right? I just don't agree with that argument. I don't care if VCs keep pumping money into it. Let them. Let them pump money into it. It's going to be their own undoing, and I don't have to participate in it. And I've already covered good use cases, and I already have I've already stated like what I would want to see, or what I think is actually, no, not what I would want to see, what is required. I just literally talked about it. It's a fundamental restructuring of how these systems work. That's what it would require. You have to fundamentally change the way these things work. If VCs were smart enough, they would put money in that restructuring. And that would be good. That would be very good, because it would mean that we would have to take a pause and think about how we're using them, how we're using these AI systems. But either way, I don't give a shit what VCs do, and I'm not going to take what I personally consider to be an immoral stance simply because, oh, but it will happen anyway, dough. Okay, Cursor. And by the way, I want more people like Elko. If you disagree with me, I want you to have this out with me. This is good. Like, we need to actually having, like, maybe even arguments sometimes. I don't think like Elko and I are really arguing. We're just like, we're talking about it somewhat passionately, which is good, right? I wish more people, I wish more people did that. Okay, let me take a minute. I'm pretty sure Elko's probably writing me a big long response, which is fair. But let me focus on the Cursor stuff for a minute. So here's what's happening. I'm going to ignore chat for a minute. With Cursor, I got to be careful how I word this a little bit. Not because it's terms of service or anything, but because if I say it wrong, then nobody's going to understand what I'm saying. Okay, like this. If it's the case that AI companies are kind of selling you a pipe dream, they're selling you something that isn't like realistic, and they want to sell you this because they know it mostly doesn't work, but they make money doing it anyways. So, you can make the you can make the greedy capitalist, late stage capitalism bad case here. This is perfect for you people. All right. So if you can agree to that premise, then you can also agree to the premise that they're going to do whatever it takes. Well, maybe not. I wouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't go that far, but they're going to do some underhanded things. They might not find them underhanded, but you as a consumer, I as a consumer would find it underhanded. And I think those things kind of like there's a framing. There's a kind of like, I'm trying to frame the problem here, right? So you have a company like Cursor. If you don't know what Cursor is, there's a development environment, which is like, well, I'll show you. Let me do this. A development environment for people who don't know what programming is. It's like what you see on screen before you. Here, let me switch to the hacker mode. There's the hacker mode, all right? So this can be considered, maybe it's not really I don't know. Anyway, it's where you put in code, and the thing that you're using to create your code gives you feedback on like how your code works. There's a thing called Visual Studio Code, and this company called Cursor essentially like forked it. Like they created they took that development environment and they created their own like version of that, which is integrated into AI so that people like Elko can be immoral bastards. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking, Elko. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right. I kind of feel bad, but also not. All right. So what Cursor does is they give you the ability to to do that, and their pricing model, they rug pull people on their pricing model. I have gone over previous articles. There was two articles. One was how Cursor would literally swap the LLM model that you were using while you're coding, so that it generates code recommendations for you, and it'll do it while you're coding, and you don't even realize it. It does it behind the scenes. It doesn't tell you it's doing it. It doesn't tell you that you're using a different model. All of a sudden you're just getting like weird different output from your Cursor development environment. And I think there was another article I went over. I'm depending on memory, so I might have this wrong, but they used I believe that they're using AI as part of like help or support or something within the environment, and the AI system told a user that there was some kind of policy that didn't exist. So anyways, there's already some sketchy background. Plus, there are popular tech streamers who are absolutely bought and paid for by Cursor because they talk about Cursor like it's like a gift from the gods themselves. All the time. Don't listen to people like that. All right. Just don't listen to people like that who just sing its praises all the time, who on the one hand will say, oh, AI bad. And then on the other hand will say, oh, but AI good if you do these things that clearly I'm sponsored by. Like, come on. Like, just don't treat your viewers like children. Anyways, so I'm Ross on Twitch, on X, on YouTube. Noticed something today, or at least he told me today, and he said, hey, Cursor's doing something weird for me. He had to stop using it, which he was already, from what I gather, he was already convinced that he needed to stop using it. And he's not the only one. So on Reddit here /Cursor, I contacted my bank and got my money back. I finally had enough of Cursor's ever-shifting price and token system. The plan I originally bought looks nothing like what I received today. I was billed without any prior warning. And Cursor still offers no transparent pricing tables, limits, tokens, usage, etc. A flaw my bank's legal team confirmed after auditing the service. So then they had to get a reimbursement from their bank, which they did. I believe Ross also got fully reimbursed, I think. And they had to report them for not providing clear pricing guidelines. Now I'm going to read a few more things, and it is my suspicion, upon having done a cursory glance of what Cursor is doing, pun intended, I planned that. All right, that was a plan. I did that on purpose, okay? is that I think they're using AI to generate their pricing. Now, if you look at Cursor, let's go look at Cursor, and here it is. And we're going to go to the pricing, and here's what they have, right? So they have free, pro week trial, limited agent requests, limited tab completions. They have $20 a month, extended limits on agent. No clue what that means. Unlimited tab completions, which is when you hit the tab key on your keyboard to complete the stuff, complete the code. Access to background agents, access to BugBot, access to maximum context windows. What are the context windows? No one knows. And then $200 a month, 20 times usage on all OpenAI Claude Gemini models. What does this mean? And priority access to new features. So this pricing page is very, very scant on details. And if usually what would happen is you would be able to find some kind of link or something here. That's usually what happens on pricing pages. And you would be able to go and look at the details, like which models, right? How many tokens, how much context, etc., etc. There's no clarity on this. There's no clarity on this, right? So what do these things mean? Who the hell knows, right? Ross says I had Cursor on credit card, so easy to refund. Yeah, that's good. Now, somebody else took a very similar picture of... let me see if I can find it proper here. Okay, yeah. Nope, I didn't do that right. One sec. Professional streamer over here. All right, professional streamer. Okay, let me zoom in and switch the camera. Effing scam. $20 to get limited after a couple of prompts on Sonnet. This was from June 26th. We're talking only a few days ago. Not even useful for hobbyists. Cursor treats its paying users like a free trial. I'd rather spend $100 on Claude Code than giving a single dollar more to a clown company that changes its billing scheme three times in 2 weeks. So, right here, this is the problem with not being clear about the usage. So I just literally, I'm glad we're doing this live, right? You can see it right here. If they ever change this, we have a record on my stream about what the pricing model looks like. And do they provide any details? Nope. Can you go down and figure out it? Nope. No details here. No details here. The only thing that they have here, list of included models here. That's it. Here we go. Okay. And the context. Do they tell you like how much context you get to use? How many tokens you use? No. And they don't. Anyways, okay? Anyways. So what happens is that you pay, say, something like $200 a month for the pro price, and you keep using it, and then all of a sudden you've hit the plan that you didn't know it had a limit. Like you didn't know what the limit was, I mean. And suddenly the limit is upon you, and so then now you have to pay more, right? So this is an ongoing problem with Cursor. Let me see. I have another one. Okay, here. Okay. Is it just me, or does Cursor AI's new pricing not make any sense? How do I know if I will be charged or if it's included? This is from June 29th. So we're not talking about stuff that was a long time ago. We're talking about very recent stuff. And you can see, I wish, can I open the image? Here we go. All right. So here's included in Pro, right? Max mode, model, cost, and requests. What kind of information is this on pricing? You have no idea what limits you're going to hit and what you're going to get out of this. Let me see. I have a few more because I want to get these on record. So let me do that. Okay, here we go. This one. Kind of opaque how the new Cursor AI unlimited requests pricing works. Seems like it's resetting on a daily basis. So again, if you look at the dates and you work your way up, right? The usage pricing, it kind of indicates that maybe every day, so right here from the 28th, at the end of the 28th, right? You've been switched to a usage-based model, and then 29, On the 29th, it seems that the pro resets and suddenly you're good again. Something is up and it's not clear what's going on. I believe I have one more. Okay. No, not that one. Okay, not that one. So then I'll just pull up this one then. This other Reddit article that I have, which was a different one than the first one. Cursor just pulled a classic VC backed bait and switch on their early adopters, which by the way is why I don't give a shit about VCs. I just don't give a shit. They have participated and funded the inshitification of not only the tech industry, but the ability for people to lose their lives, the inability for programmers to actually create anything useful anymore, generally speaking, and tactics like this. I don't give a shit about VCs. I just don't give a shit. Fuck them. If they actually had any backbone, then they would invest in something worthwhile. It's right there. All they have to do is put the curves and the grooves back in their smooth brains and realize that there's money to be made by caring about quality, not just money. In any case, Cursor's leadership just made one of the most tone-deaf business decisions I've witnessed in the developer tool space, and it's going to cost them everything they've built. The recent plan changes aren't just bad policy, they're insulting. Cursor's management apparently believes developers are too stupid to notice when our service gets degraded mid-contract, or too apathetic to care when a company violates basic principles of fair dealing. I don't care if they need to raise prices, plenty of companies do, but there's a stealth price increase by degrading existing service while claiming it was just optimization for different workflows. So yes, essentially what's happened is that they changed their pricing model because they're rug pulling you about the model you're using while you're coding. That's exactly what's happening. So while you're using this tool and paying for a pricing model that you don't actually know what's included in that pricing model, they get to make bank because they change money or they change models so that they can save money based on the model that you're currently using. That's what's happening. Stop using Cursor. Just stop it. Okay, this is scummy behavior. And for the record, I know lots of VC, well, no, not lots, honestly. No, let me think about that. I know I can think of less than 5 VCs I can count on my hand who actually do give a shit. They actually do care about this stuff. And they're happy to invest in good stuff when it comes. And that includes like quality built software websites, companies that don't do these kind of tactics. The issue is that they are drowned out by a vast majority of VCs who don't care. I need to be clear about that because I keep saying I'm guilty of the thing I complain about other people doing, which is using generalized terms. It's not the case that all VCs are like this, but this is a very common thing about venture capitalists. They have a specific mindset, and they, as a result, what they do is they hurt people like you and me in various different ways, and ultimately they hurt themselves because they could be making a lot more money if they were smarter about where they invested their money, and they're not. Generally speaking, they're not. And I can say they're not because the actions and the industry and the market says they're not. Vote with your dollars, folks. And watch streams like mine, not just mine, but like mine, because I try and give information that covers programmers and consumers so that you guys are better equipped to talk about these things and convince people that, including venture capitalists who like want to invest in things, that it would behoove them to invest in good, proper stuff, which is essentially the opposite of what they've been doing for the last 20 years or more even. There is money to be made, but you gotta get your head out of your butt and think about what you're investing in. And such venture capitalists do exist. They just, there needs to be more of them. Let me catch up on chat for a minute. Um, oh, geez, I'm really behind. Elko, there's nothing wrong with the moral stance, but you risk becoming the Amish if you do. Yeah, I am the Amish. I don't just risk it. I already am. Yeah, like I am. I'm just gonna be honest. I am, and I've unfortunately put myself in a bad position where I have to make my own way. I can't count on anyone else. I can't count on the network that I used to have because I used to suckle on the teats of the people who I don't agree with right now, who I find fundamentally flawed in particular ways. It's too late. I'm already off that. I'm already in that. I have to figure it out for myself. But I'm okay with that because it means that like I depend on you guys for any amount of money I receive. I'm not sponsored by anyone. Literally nobody sponsors me, mostly because nobody wants to sponsor me. Okay, which means that I can just be honest. That's the benefit of my position. I can just be honest. I can just say things as I see them, and what I see is bad stuff. And so I have to figure it out for myself, right? And in part, and that's why your generosity, your viewership, your engagement, things like this, mean a lot to me because it's a big deal for me. Because I'm in a bad position that I have to find my own way out of. So I really respect that people are here and listening to me do soy rants. I'm not entertaining, Evil Eye. Okay, I'm not entertaining. I'm not an entertainer. All right. Okay, yeah, I guess people are talking. Definitely sad when people use AI just because they need to repeat what others do in the field. Yeah, it's this has been going on for a while. To Elko's point, this has been going on for a while. So if you look at something like React, which I love to trash talk, React is a cancer to the tech industry and continues to be a cancer. And many people picked up React and leak code interviews and things like this. Why did a lot of companies do that? Well, because they saw the bigger companies and all these other programmers who made bank do it, and so they thought, well, if we want to make bank, if we want to make lots of money, then we should copy them. Like, no. Confirm DGen. Yeah, I'll go. I know. Compete. I lost context, Evil Eye, when you said compete. I apologize. Yeah, so consumer laws protect against us. That's right, Ross. Yeah, this is what dealers do. Yeah, the LLMs are not happy with you. No, they're not. Nope. June 29th, that was the second quarter of the year. This is the third quarter. That was forever ago. Elko has a point. It's been forever. Elko does have a point. Yeah. Yeah. Cursor does no warning or email about changing their contacts. Just to be crystal clear, that's very illegal. At least in the EU. Yep. Yeah. What's up, F and Epic on YouTube? Good to see you. What's up, Nix on YouTube? Shut up, Nix. You have a point, Nix, but also shut up, all right? Shut it, Nix. Okay, let's keep going. I have some more articles. Thanks, Jennifer, for the follow just now. Who were on whichever platform you're doing that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, more good news. Okay, so again, to all the naysayers, one more time, to all the naysayers. Spiro, you never say anything positive. All you do is say negative things. It makes me really sad. I'm so sad. Why you make me sad? British hacker, Intel broker charged with $25 million in cybercrime damages. This is good. I like seeing this. Good. A British hacker known online as Intel Broker has been charged by the US for stealing and selling sensitive data from victims worldwide, causing an estimated $25 million in damages. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York accuses Kai West, a 25-year-old British man, in a years-long campaign to steal and sell data from government agencies, networks, companies, and critical infrastructure. This data was most often put up for sale on the Breach Forum's hacking forum, which is now about to be shut down, it looks like. So this is good news. The stolen information included sensitive health records, internal files from telecommunication and cybersecurity firms, and user data from online platforms. Intel Broker has become one of the most notorious cybercriminals in recent years, linked to breaches at Europol, General Electric, WeBang, AMD, HPE, Nokia, and DC HealthLink. Holy crap. Look what he got from the Health Benefit Exchange Authority. Subscriber ID, member ID, policy ID, first name, last name, social security, date of birth, gender, relationship, benefit type, plan name, HIOS ID, I'm not sure what that is, plan metal level. I mean, it goes on and on. This guy cooked. However, what kind of damage did this information cause to people's lives? I'm glad he got arrested. This is good news, okay? So there you go. 2 good news in one stream. Shut it, naysayers. Shut it. Now, we often talk about the developer experience decisions that have been made by the tech industry and how tools have been made to allow developers to feel nice and comfy and safe so that they can do a simple like npm install, npm deploy, whatever it is, and push a button and things get deployed and things get done. They're just glorified plumbers for code. They don't actually understand anything that they're doing under the hood. Hackers abuse Microsoft ClickOnce and AWS services for stealthy attacks. Gee, I wonder what this could be. Could this potentially be a developer experience type tool that automatically deploys stuff to the cloud and default configurations it and maybe exposes things that hackers can use? Let's read, shall we? A sophisticated malicious campaign that researchers call OneClick has been leveraging Microsoft's ClickOnce software deployment tool and custom Golang backdoors to compromise organizations within the energy, oil, and gas sectors. Oh, just critical sectors of people's lives. The hackers rely on legitimate AWS cloud services like CloudFront, API Gateway, Lambda, etc., to keep the command and control infrastructure hidden. ClickOnce is a deployment technology from Microsoft that allows developers to create self-updating Windows-based applications, reducing user interaction to a minimum. And as a result of this automated deployment of Windows-based applications for easy fifis, we have hackers who are using this and abusing it. They combine legitimate tools with custom malware to evade detection. So they send a phishing email with a link to a fake hardware analysis site hosted on an Azure, which is a cloud-based thing like Amazon ecosystem. It delivers a .application file, a ClickOnce manifest, disguised as a legitimate tool. And then you can, once you've convinced someone to download that, it's over. And you don't actually have to even convince somebody to download that. You just have to put it somewhere that someone will most likely pull it down themselves. You can just say like, hey, use this .application file. It's a ClickOnce file that deploys this amazing thing for you. And then someone downloads that because they're used to everything being easy, because that's what the tech industry has funded and promoted for upwards of 2 decades. And then they run it, and then they have a backdoor, and then they have access to, you guessed it, just about anything, including the cloud services that are being used, that you're deploying via ClickOnce. Fun. This is how your information gets out there. If you're a consumer who's watching this, you're not a programmer. It's so dead simple. This stuff should be very easily locked down, and it's not. Because what the tech industry has done is they've sold you out. They've sold out your money. You pay money to the tech industry, and then what they do is they sell your data either in front of your face or they sell it inadvertently because they promote developers doing the shortest possible amount of work for the maximum possible amount of dollars earned. Vote with your dollars. Next. Next. Chat. Everyone's silent. Yeah, I think everyone left. I think I've been talking too much. Everyone's info is out there. Spooky AF. My inner voyeur sometimes want to find out how to purchase some of these logs. Let me tell you that I have gone on these forums to do research as part of these daily tech news streams. It's risky. I wouldn't recommend it. Don't do it. It is possible for you to get all kinds of. I actually can't even talk about it. I can't talk about the information that I have had very little effort getting access to. Very little effort. And you know, you just don't download it. You just like preview it or whatever. Just don't download it, or you delete it right away or whatever. But it's not hard. It's not hard. And the kind of information you get, you can absolutely ruin someone's life and make money along the way. 100% you can do that. New wave of fake interviews uses 35 NPM packages to spread malware. Which packages and what is this? A new wave of North Korea's contagious interview campaign is targeting job seekers with malicious NPM packages that infect devs' devices with info stealers and backdoors. So what they do is they create NPM packages, and I think I covered this on a previous stream, but I'm just covering it one more time in case people didn't pick up on it, because I think tomorrow I'm going to keep going on some of this North Korean stuff. But essentially they have these packages that these North Korean people pose as recruiters. That's what happens. They pretend like they're hiring someone. You as a programmer are a victim in this case, because you're like, yeah, a job. And then they ask you to do like an assignment, you know, like a take-home test. There you go, blockchain developer test. And you need to use these things. I think you can guess the rest, right? I think you can guess the rest. And then developers get their systems compromised and it's over. Absolutely over. Now, in a somewhat more dystopian article, how would one go about fixing leaked information? Where do you even start? So what you would have to do is, your first line of defense is if you're a victim. So if you have, okay, here's the first thing you do. All right. If you can afford it, get credit monitoring for your personhood. Just go get like credit auditing, credit monitoring reports. Go do that. If you can afford it on a monthly basis, try doing it once a year. I believe there are services you pay once a year and it does an audit to kind of give you a report of what your activity is based on information that you allow the company to have access to. You absolutely need to be doing that. Do it once a year. It will tell you if somebody has done something with your identity or with your financials that you think is sketchy. Because there are times where people don't even realize that something's happened for months or sometimes years. I've covered a few articles. So do a credit monitoring report at least once a year. That's your first line of defense. Your second line of defense is unfortunately reactive, which means that somebody has done something, which means then that you have to go into a little bit of an investigation mode. Shut down anything that you think has been impacted by the leak of your information or the usage of a leak of your information. So if it's credit cards, if it's bank accounts, if it's stuff that you've subscribed to, just immediately start shutting things down so you can stop the bleeding. The next thing that you can do is, depending on which country you're in, I believe, for example, EU has laws for this, you can make governmental requests. You can even file police reports, which sometimes end up in governmental ecosystems, where you make a legal or maybe even a criminal complaint that your identity has been stolen or somebody is doing something that is illegal in terms of activity, right? So you should absolutely do that. The easiest thing to do is to just call up your local police department, not through the emergency line. Just call up, just figure out who they are. You can walk in, you can talk to someone there, you can give a call to the front desk and just ask them, what do I do if I think that my information's out there on the internet and it's being used in bad ways or could potentially be? The police will generally be very interested in it, or they will at least know who you should contact, whether that is a government agency or some maybe another police like department that covers these things, whatever it is. This is all reactive stuff. If you want to be proactive about it, make sure you're changing your passwords every 1 to 3 months. I know it seems like a lot. Every month you're changing your passwords on all your systems. Yep. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Yes. 100%. Change your passwords all the time. As often as you can think about it, change your passwords. And you don't, if you don't think about it like I have to change all my passwords and sit down and do it for like, an hour straight, think about it as like every once in a while, I'll go and pick one or two things and just change the password and you just continually rotate it like that. Then you're going to be ahead of the game, way ahead of the game. And Mist is right. Evil Eye gets it. Can't do anything. Yeah. Stay poor. That's right. Evil Eye gets it. Stay poor. Two-factor authentication. If any service you're using gives you the opportunity to use two-factor authentication, absolutely do it. Make sure that you are keeping track of your monthly expenses with regards to like things like credit card and whatever. That's going to be a proactive stance, not reactive. So you just take a look. Just take 5 minutes at the end of the month. Just go look and make sure that there's no expense that's like, weird or anything like that. Easy way to keep ahead of these things. Ghost is right. Use a prepaid credit card. Yep. And use a different email for every service. I was just going to say, go look at Proton Mail. And I think there's somebody who, if you're on the Crucible side, the Andrew Wilson side, there's somebody in that chat, in that Discord, who has their own email service. I can't remember who. I wish I could give them a proper shout out. But they literally created their own email service company in order to combat all the stupidity around current email services. You can go look at that. If you can DM me if you want, but like Proton Mail is another one. You can generate different emails so that you can at least limit the amount of damage that might be caused by someone using this information that gets out there. And always assume your information is leaked. Always assume it. Default stance. Anytime that you're going to create a new password, let's say it's a password you've never created before, your first thought should be, this password's already out there. Because in a month, it will be. The likelihood of it being is super high. So just assume that. If you have that mindset, which is an unfortunate mindset to be in, but it's the reality, until VCs get their act together and we change things around the tech industry, which is why I do what I do, this Amish XJW high school dropout room temperature IQ guy. You have to assume that your data is already out there. Just assume it. Your health data, your, if you have like pharmaceutical prescriptions, out there. Do you have a history of health issues? Out there. Do you have like a common password that you use for like a lot of things? Out there. Do you have certain routines in your household? Out there. Amazon's Ring can now use AI to learn the routines of your residents. It's meant to cut down on false positives, could be a trove for mischief makers. I have an article coming up where literally, I think it's Xfinity, says that they can now use AI to tell you if there's use your Wi-Fi to tell you if there's movement in your own home. It used to be a conspiracy theory that you can't detect things with Wi-Fi signal, like, I don't know, do objects exist in your home? Are people walking around? What is their location in your home? And now it turns out that internet service providers are just openly stating, oh, actually, yeah, it's not a conspiracy theory. Yes, you can do this. Yes, your Wi-Fi can be used to track you. Yeah, it's a real thing. And Amazon's Ring can now be used with AI to figure out your routines because it's tracking you. Ring doorbells and cameras are using AI to learn the routines of your residents. It's part of Amazon's ongoing effort to stuff AI into everything it makes. It will use generative AI to write text descriptions of the motion activity detected by Ring doorbells and cameras. There you go. So this is what I mean. Always assume that your data is out there, and always assume that even non-data data is out there. Facebook for a long time has had the ability to determine where you are, even if you're not plugging in, even if you're not connecting to anybody's Wi-Fi as you're driving around. If you have your Wi-Fi enabled on your phone, Facebook has a way, or they had a way of looking through all the known discovered Wi-Fi networks that your phone discovered but did not connect to as you traveled from point A to point B. And when they look at the names and unique identifiers of those Wi-Fi networks, they know people who did connect to them. And by cross-referencing people who did connect to them with you just having scanned it on your phone as part of your travels, they can now triangulate, essentially, where you've been. This stuff, it's too late. It's too late. It's over. Data privacy is over. You have to vote with your dollar. Try and avoid doing these things if you can possibly avoid it. Watch streams like mine so you're informed about how these things work and why you should stop paying for them if it's possible for you to do so. The consumer is the most powerful tool in this campaign, including in the campaign that I'm trying to make, which is programming is fucked. If consumers have the ability to properly complain about their video games suck and here's why, software sucks and here's why, websites suck and here's why, and you vote with your dollars, companies will listen to that. Companies listen to that. VCs listen to that. Because they understand that if money's going to dry out of AI because people don't want to use this crap, then maybe they should rethink their position. It's happened time and time again in the tech industry in particular, and it can happen again. That's why I do what I do, so that everybody is as informed as I can possibly make them informed. And I am an idiot. I'm a dummy, so I get this wrong a lot. But you guys also don't have to be programmers to understand what's going on here. FNEpic says, thanks for reaffirming my paranoia. You're welcome. You're welcome. And by the way, Ross is right. All birds are government drones. Tell me something. I have a logical argument for this. Has anybody captured a bird in flight? Any time that you've ever touched a bird to feel it, any time that an autopsy has been done on a bird, any time that science has been done on a bird by cutting it open and looking inside, it's always been a bird on ground. Has anybody ever actually touched a bird while it's in flight? The logic is unassailable. All right. Speaking of birds. Yeah, D-Daver, have you ever seen a bird and a drone in one room? D-Daver, if you didn't already have VIP status, I'd be giving you one right now. Yes, one tried to land on my head once, but Purecoin. No, Purecoin. No, Purecoin. It was close to you, right? Did you actually, did you grab it and touch it and look at it? No Goomba hat this time. That's right. Damn it, Ghost. It's not a conspiracy theory unless I have my Goomba hat on. You're right. That was a drone strike. You had a chicken on your shoulder. Doesn't count, FNEpic. Doesn't count. He touched you on the head. There. It's not proof, Purecoin. It's not proof, Purecoin. My logic stands. I said mid-flight. Did you touch it? My logic stands. I bumped its ass as it was flying down. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Listen to the words I said. Doesn't count. You guys can't beat me on this. This is unassailable logic. Okay? Birds are drones and Australia ain't real. Supply chain attacks surge with orgs flying blind about dependencies. Who is the third party that does the thing in our thing? Yup. So for consumers out there, if you're not a programmer, because I know I have a few, what you don't understand about the tech industry, what you might not understand about the tech industry, we as programmers have decided that it is good for us to create the most idiotic abstractions. What that means is instead of taking code like this and hand coding it every time, we go, well, there's some repetitive code in here, right? So how about instead of taking this repetitive code and typing it out every single time, we turn it into a library, which is this code packaged into a system that we can just import, really easily import. You just type in a nice little command and it imports this repetitive code, and you just point to it and go, I want to use this repetitive code in this portion of a website or whatever it is. That has ballooned into frameworks, which is like you can think of it as maybe like an Uber library or a bunch of libraries put all together. Frameworks are typically what people use to build websites these days, including video games and software. There's usually a framework behind it, and then these frameworks scale up, and then what you usually have is a bunch of different frameworks and a bunch of different libraries, especially when you're talking about the web, where you have like cloud services and your data and the website's being served over here and yada yada yada. There's a bunch of different stuff going on, and essentially what we've created is a massive complexity machine. It's a massive complexity machine. Now, in and of itself, that's not really a bad thing. Do you really want to be paying, as a consumer, do you really want to be paying a programmer to repeatedly be rewriting code like this over and over again? That's someone's time, right? It's not really this that's the bad thing. The bad thing is that we've gone way too far in the complexity machine. Way too far. We've taken it way too far. So as a result, an article like this is what I've been complaining about since I started streaming seriously over a year ago. We don't even know what these things do anymore. We have created so many of these little machines built on top of each other, built on top of each other, built on top of each other, that we have become so dependent upon them that you as a consumer don't even realize the amount of issues that we just import on a daily basis over and over and over again. And so when you go to that website and you create that account and I don't know, whatever it is, that kind of stuff operates on massive amounts of unknown libraries, massive amounts of unknown systems that are just imported on a daily basis without really knowing what's going on. Programmers don't fully understand what's going on. Managers don't fully understand what's going on. And executives don't fully understand what's going on. And this is part, not entire, but part of the reason why tech companies no longer know how to make anything of quality anymore, because they don't even understand what's going on underneath. This is just a part of it. And so what they have to do is they have to pump you full of ads, subscriptions, rug pulled pricing models, right? Like this, and never ending subscription pricing changes. They sell your data. And then on top of that, these security issues, which is what this talks about, which is the number of attacks as a result of all of these complexity machines being pieced together, not knowing how they work, means that we are literally just importing a whole bunch of security vulnerabilities, and no one knows where they even are to plug them. So again, vote with your dollar. Companies are realizing this. Organizations and leaders are gravely concerned about supply chain risks. Geez, if only there was an Amish, morally principled person, high school room temperature IQ, ex-homeless dropout, self-taught, who talked about these things on stream. 88% of the CISOs and other security higher-ups surveyed expressed worry over supply chain security, but far fewer than half actually monitor security fully across their external suppliers. Nearly 4 in 5 organizations, 79%, say that less than half of their nth-party supply chain, which is the dependents and dependencies of their suppliers, is overseen by a cybersecurity program. This means the vast majority of organizations are flying blind, much like the drones in the sky that we consider to be birds, but they're really drones. I guess they're not flying that blind because they're drones and they can see where they're flying. But in any case, these companies depend on these dependencies to keep their businesses running. 36% of respondents revealed that only 1 to 10% of their supply chain is protected. They have the visibility for the organizations that have the visibility into the wider aspect of their supply chain. It's likely that the data they get back makes for grim reading. Nearly 2/3 or 62% of security leaders said that less than half of their third and nth party suppliers match their own organization's security requirements. The apathy from or inability of both customers and their suppliers to monitor supply chain security and meet security standards respectively naturally leads to an unwelcome number of attacks. 71% of security leaders reported that their organizations had experienced at least one incident which had a material impact on their business in the past year alone. I cover these kinds of scenarios all the time, over and over again. This happens on a daily basis. Millions of dollars lost, people's livelihoods destroyed, etc., etc. Again, vote with your dollars. And the good news is that it doesn't have to be this way. If we focus less on people's feelings as they develop these systems, if we even made it like somewhat mandatory for programmers to understand the fundamental underpinnings of the things they created, if consumers clamored for better quality, because I think consumers have been beaten over the head, they just assume, well, I guess this is just how it is because everyone's like this, so it must just be how it is. It must be the state of tech that we can't do anything better. No, we can. We can. Video games could be way better. They could be way smaller. They could be way cooler. They could be way funner. We could remove the politics out of all this tech stuff where ideology does not have a place in it. You could have way better video games. You could have way better websites, way faster, much more secure. Software, same thing. You could have all of that. And it would only take a few months of most, maybe not even most, like 60, 50%, 60% of the tech industry being persuaded that we can do better. 6 to 8 months, you wouldn't recognize the amount of the kinds of things that we could produce. It's like, it's right there. It's right there. Right there. I'm pointing to it. It's literally right there. A bird just flew over it. So obviously the VCs are keeping track of it. Shut up, effing. Australia is fake and gay. Shut up. Writing your own libraries for your own usage is based. It can be, yeah, Ross, yeah. Evil Eye says, I'm using Unreal Engine. I apologize if your data makes it to China. Frickin' hell, Evil Eye. Ross says the bad thing is that developers today don't understand their abstractions or the cost of the abstractions. Yeah, so Ross said it before me. That's how you get ugly low FPS games despite devs trying their best to make it perform it. Yes. Yeah, believe it or not, the video games that exist today do not need to be as crappy as they are, especially in terms of performance. You can make ideological claims too, where like wokeness and stuff gets pushed into it. But part of the reason why is because VCs don't know how to make money off of this stuff. And so they rely on ideological ideas, hoping that people will buy it anyways because of the ideology, not because of the quality of the game. Right? But I would encourage you to go look at Thread Interactive on YouTube. And they do incredible breakdowns on current and previous games in the past and how good they could actually be and how these engines are not as good as they're hyped up to be. They do incredible breakdowns. Go watch their stuff. We've watched a few of their videos on here. It's great stuff. Evil Eye, just like to make video games. Yeah. If I worried about these things, my video game would never get done. Well, I don't think that's true. If your video game would never get done, then maybe you have added too much to the video game. Maybe you need to scale back on the kinds of features you want in your video game. And see, I think this is one of the problems. Like everybody wants everything all the time. But what people don't understand is that there's a long-term play. If you scale back on features, with regards to anything you're creating. If you make websites simpler, try not to make things fancy. What's more important is like, how useful is it? Are you getting the right information across? How fun is the game? You can make really fun games with very novel concepts with very, 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 very little. If you do that, what you're necessarily doing is building up a backlog of known and proven methods that you can then point to as, well, I could abstract this thing that I have proven to work really well, and it would fit into this other thing that I now want to do, where maybe I want to expand the features of my next game, or maybe I want to add a feature to the game. So the mindset of it will never get done. Companies say this all the time. People say this all the time about software. What, do you want us to go back to writing assembly and C? Software, we never get anything finished then. We can go fast, ship it fast, right? It's like, well, maybe you're asking for too much right out of the gate. Maybe that. Maybe you want everything and you want it now. And maybe what you're not realizing is that there's a better long-term play than that. Maybe that. And that's worked fine for a very long time. If you go back to some of the, like, let's take video games, go back to some of the video game consoles that were purely 2D, and you can see what people did with limited graphics, limited hardware that would be considered potato hardware today. There are websites that are 10 times the size of classic shareware Doom. And you don't get anywhere near the same interactivity as Doom. Vote with your dollar. Vote with your dollar. Where are all the fiber lines in Ukraine? Listen, Effin, okay? You can't just be... Effin, come on. You're outing yourself as a double agent, all right? So Effin is now a double agent. Effin Epic on YouTube is a spy. Proven spy. That's the joke, write your own engine as a solo dev. Time is the most valuable thing. It is very limited for me. Then scope back. Scope back, Evil Eye. Everyone's time is limited. That's not you. Nobody gets to escape that. You don't get to escape that time is limited. So instead of trying to rush out, look at it this way. Your time is limited. So what do you want to do with the time available? Do you want to rush out a whole bunch of stuff created in a mediocre way? Or would you prefer to take that time and do a smaller amount of things, but do it really, really well? And which of the two do you think leads to more money, generally? Why do I want to speedrun my life creating mediocrity? Just so that I can say I did a thing. Now, I don't know you, Evil Eye. Like, I don't know you very well. So you might be fine, right? I'm making a general statement, right? Like, everybody has like their own individual life, whatever. So how can I make judgments on an individual person? I can't. Evil Eye might be doing everything correctly. I wouldn't know. I'm just saying. If you're gonna make a statement, then I'm gonna make a statement. All right? Yeah, Ross. Effin is a bird. Confirmed. Yeah, Effin is a bird. Yeah. Yeah, confirmed. Effin is a bird. Evil Eye says, I don't want to continue working 12 hours a day. That is for damn sure. I can understand that. I can understand that. That's why I do what I do. Because if I can convince people, if I can persuade them that we're doing things wrong in the tech industry, that we need to stop and take pause, not just on AI, but even on stuff before these LLM systems existed. It was already bad before LLMs existed. LLMs are just a speedrun mode of all the bad decisions. If people can vote with their dollar, if programmers are informed with this information and the arguments, that they can go and talk about it and talk about it with their colleagues, managers, executives, make decisions within their own, ecosystems, their own worlds as they go to work. This is how we make changes, hopefully, when we start persuading each other, when we start persuading others with good, sound arguments. It has to start with somebody saying something about it. And instead, what most people do, particularly people who should know better, whether it's like, whatever, financial people, streamers, influencers in the tech space, whatever, instead what you hear is, it's okay, status quo is status quo. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about the status quo? You think you have power to stop the status quo? It's going to happen no matter what you do. So accept it and work within it. No, I reject that. I do not want to participate. I choose not to participate. And my choice not to participate hopefully means that I can use my position as a broke pori. Thanks for the $20 again today. I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. To be able to speak my mind and persuade people like you. And if I do that enough, hopefully things can slowly turn around before it's too late, because there is a time coming when it will be too late. And society will collapse. And a part of the reason why society will collapse is because we didn't get a handle on this. I'm actually surprised there are not some more popular streamers who I can think of who would agree with the takes that we have here and do not cover it. It's like a blind spot for them. I'm surprised, but I'm here doing what I can. Hopefully you guys are also benefiting from it and learning, and it informs your ability to make better decisions. I hope that's what's coming out of it. And to that end, yeah, there you go, Effin. So to that end, if you don't want to support me financially, that's fine. I have to find my own way. I have a family to take care of. I got to figure that out. I have to make my own way. I'm not here to make money off of this because I don't want to make money off you. The whole point of what I'm saying is that we can all make a bunch of money. That's what I'm saying. Companies can make a bunch of money, more money than we make now. Video games can be funner. People out there who depend on software on a daily basis can find more utility in better quality stuff, better quality software, which means they get to make more money. Us as programmers, we get to make more money. If we fix these things instead of just accepting the status quo and being okay with them, we get to make more money. All of us. That's where the true financial outcome is for me. Rising tide lifts all boats kind of a thing. That's what I want to see. I want to see everybody out there benefiting generally as a society more from the immense power that we have in this industry, and also programmers in my chat who deserve to have work, because some of you I know don't, and who deserve to have better work than you do now. Work where you get to sit down and you get to write quality stuff and you know it's going to be appreciated. That world is within reach. So because of that, I don't ask for the money because I care about something more than that. I care about the things that lead to better outcomes, which then lead to money, including for me. I want to persuade everybody out there who's watching that we have to get there. I will ask one thing, though. I will ask you something. In order for this message to get out there, in order for the stuff that we talk about and cover and that we seem to generally believe in to get out to more eyeballs, I need your help. I need you to hit the like. I need you to hit the subscribe. I need you to hit the repost, the reshare on X. I need you to do all that stuff on the other platforms that I stream. Help out. The views are great. The chat is great. It's good. I appreciate it a lot. That is one of the most powerful things that you have, and it's free. And what it does is it helps me to play that algorithm game, which expands the amount of people that watch these streams and hopefully persuade more people. So help me out with that. Do that. And I think that's it. Bogan Bits, how you doing? I'm thinking of starting a business doing security audits of AI generated code. Devs who can code will get ultra rich from this. We're going to get rich from that anyways, particularly because of all the bad AI generated code that just seems to be pumped out in mass on a daily basis. People are going to have to clean that up. one way or the other, there's money to be made down the road, as long as everything doesn't, get destroyed by then. Everyone's afraid. No one wants to come together in the indie game sphere. No one wants to come together in a lot of different spheres. The programming sphere in general is like this. Even before things were bad, programmers tend to have a very focused and fixated what would you say? They get fixated. They have energy that fixates a lot on the things that interest them. And part of the reason is because they have such immense control over the stuff they get to work on. So good luck pulling programmers together outside of financial rewards to work on things that should be worked on together for the betterment of XYZ. It's almost impossible. So it's not just indie game. It's it's difficult to do that. It is what it is. Elko will be your first client. Frickin' Elko. Frickin' Elko. Okay, frickin' Elko. That degenerate scumbag. Elko. Is he even still in chat? Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? Listen, folks, that's it for the stream. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I'll be back tomorrow for another Daily Tech News stream. I do need to consider changing not the schedule really, but the types of streams that I do on a weekly basis. I might do less of the Daily Tech News streams, and I might swap one or two of the Daily Tech News streams with like building out the video game, or someone suggested, I think it's Demetra on YouTube, suggested that we do like a cybersecurity crash course, because I don't know, I'm not a cybersecurity expert, even though I cover these articles all the damn time. It's just that it's so easy to pick on them because the stuff is so simple. But it might be worth it to do that and just kind of like learn together and do a few of those things like that. So I might do that, but for the week, I'll be back every day with a Daily Tech News stream. So catch me again tomorrow. Again, I really appreciate it. I think this number went up. I might have missed a notification. I don't know. I think it was 93 and it went up to 98. If somebody just tipped, thank you for tipping. I think it was $5. I do appreciate that. Effin, if that was you, effin, you're no longer a bird / drone. Okay? You've redeemed yourself. You redeemed yourself with a $5 tip. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. So that's $25. And that means a lot to me. That's $25. That is not small. I know it sounds small. That is not small. I average maybe like $5 to $10 a month on the doing the streaming on all the platforms, like what I take after everybody takes their cut of whatever subs and all that. $25 is like 3 months worth of stuff that I make. That's insane. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That means a lot. You guys are awesome. Do a collab with Theo? No, I've already trash talked Theo. I've already proven that he's not a real programmer. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, maybe sometimes he knows what he's talking about. Okay, sometimes he has a good take. I already did a full video completely demolishing a bunch of his bad, let's say, ideas around programming, particularly with Tailwind or something like that. I have a full video, 3.5 or something hours. It's done. It's over. It's over. There's no way. No. And you couldn't get me to do a collab with Theo anyways. For other reasons. Which are probably abundantly clear to many in chat. Anyways, that's it. I keep threatening to end and I don't end. Listen, folks, stay safe out there. Okay? Take care. I'll catch you online. !Discord if you want to hop on the Discord. You can see all the articles that I go over. I have a channel for that. You can chat with me. You can DM me. If you want me to cover particular news items, you can DM me the news items. I'll go over them and include them if I think that they're within theme of the streams. Catch me online, all of that good stuff. Otherwise, I'll catch you tomorrow. Please stay safe out there. It is dangerous. And yes, Ghost, he doesn't know how to use CSS. He absolutely does not know how to use CSS, right? He doesn't know how to use Laravel either. He's an AI shill in a big way. So there, I'm going to make moral claims. Okay, not moral claims. I can't judge his morality, but yeah, yada, yada. All right, peace out, folks. I'm out of here. Bye. Oh, by the way, Cursor has a new pricing model. Yeah, they just released it literally this second. And the pricing model includes a list of people in chat who suck. So for exactly $0, I can get the list of people in my chat who suck. So I've purchased this just now. I literally just purchased it just now. Who in my chat sucks? Peercoin, you suck. Ghost Magic, you suck. Effin' Epic, you get a pass because you dropped 5 today. Evil Eye, you know what, Evil Eye? You suck today, alright? Evil Eye, you suck. Mist, you suck 3 times for even suggesting a collab with Theo. Mist today sucks 3 times. Ross, you suck. Bogan Bits, you suck. Okay? Let's see who else we have here. We did Peercoin. Crap. D-Daver, you suck. Birds aren't even real? You suck. Nyx, you suck. Alright? Elko sucks 4 times today. Elko sucks 4 times today. AH, you suck. Alright? AH sucks. Who else do we have? Killian's cool. Killian gets a pass, right? Killian's a cool guy. I'll give him a pass. Crispy Rothschild, you suck. Okay, you super suck. Okay, it's not like 2 times suck. It's just like 1 time super. Marsky super sucks. Okay, Marsky super sucks. All right. Kobina on X, new person here, so they get a pass today. All right, pass on Kobina. I think that's everyone. All of you suck. Every single one of you sucks. Mist, you suck 3 times, and Elko, you suck 4 times. Come back tomorrow, and I'll tell you how much more you suck. Peace out, folks. Stay safe. Bye.